He was invisible, broke, stuck in a life he didn't want. Every day felt the same, every dream long forgotten. But one night, one small step changed everything. What happened next will inspire you to take the step you've been too afraid to take. The night everything changed for him didn't look special at all. No thunder, no dramatic music, no moment that screamed destiny. Just a quiet sidewalk, flickering streetlights, and a man standing still while the rest of the city rushed past him. He didn't know it yet, but one step forward, just one, was about to rewrite his entire life. His name was Daniel Carter, and for most of his life, he felt invisible. At 34, Daniel lived in a cramped one-bedroom apartment on the edge of Cleveland. The paint peeled from the walls like it had given up years ago. The radiator hissed louder than his thoughts. Every morning, he woke before sunrise not because he was driven, but because anxiety wouldn't let him sleep. He worked a warehouse job that paid just enough to survive and not enough to dream. 10 hours a day lifting boxes, scanning barcodes, listening to supervisors bark orders like he was replaceable, because he was. He used to dream, though. Once. As a kid, Daniel believed life would open up for him. He loved drawing buildings, sketching skylines, imagining himself as an architect shaping cities. But life has a way of shrinking dreams quietly. His father died when Daniel was 16. His mother worked 2 jobs. College became a luxury he couldn't afford. Dreams became responsibilities. 1 year turned into 10, and before he knew it, his life felt locked into place. Every night he told himself the same lie. This is just how life is. The pain wasn't loud. It was slow and heavy, like carrying a weight you don't realize is crushing you until you can't breathe anymore. Watching old classmates on social media hurt more than he admitted. They had careers, families, purpose. Daniel had excuses. I didn't get the chances they did. He'd think. I'm not lucky like them. But deep down, another voice whispered something worse. Maybe you're just not enough. One evening, after a brutal shift, Daniel sat alone at a bus stop. Rain soaked his jacket. His phone buzzed with a message from his landlord. Rent was going up. He stared at the screen, his chest tightening. For the first time, the future didn't just scare him, it felt impossible. What am I doing with my life? He muttered under his breath. No one answered. That night, he couldn't sleep. He paced his apartment, mind racing. Every regret came flooding in. Every time he stayed quiet instead of speaking up. Every opportunity he didn't take because fear told him not to. He sat on the floor, back against the wall, head in his hands, and something inside him finally cracked. I can't do this anymore, he whispered. Not life. Just this life. The next morning, exhausted and hollow, Daniel didn't go straight to work. He walked instead. Past streets he never noticed. Past people chasing their own battles. His feet carried him without direction until he stopped in front of a community college building. A flyer on the glass door caught his eye. Night classes, architecture and design basics. He laughed bitterly. Figures. He almost walked away. Almost. Then he remembered being 16, pencil in hand, dreaming of skylines. He remembered how alive that felt. His heart pounded like it was daring him. What's the point? His fear said. You're too old. Too broke. Too late. But another voice, quiet and shaking, answered back. What if you're not? Daniel stood there for a long moment. People passed him. Cars honked. Life kept moving. And then he took one step forward and opened the door. That step didn't fix everything. It didn't magically turn him into a success story overnight. What it did was harder. It committed him to change. He enrolled in one class. Just one. Night classes after warehouse shifts. The first weeks were brutal. He'd sit in the back, hands sore, eyes heavy, wondering if he'd made a mistake. Everyone else seemed smarter, faster. Imposter syndrome wrapped around him like a chokehold. One night, the instructor looked at his sketch and said, "You've got an eye for this. You ever think about doing it seriously?" Daniel froze. No one had said that to him in years. His throat tightened. I'm just trying to learn. Well, the instructor smiled. Keep showing up. So he did. Months passed. Daniel sacrificed sleep, weekends, comfort. He studied on lunch breaks. Drew at midnight. Failed tests. Redid assignments. Wanted to quit more times than he could count. But each time, he remembered that night on the sidewalk. He remembered how close he came to giving up on himself forever. Slowly, something shifted. His confidence grew. His work improved. He transferred to a full program. Money was tight, painfully tight. But he found scholarships, took side gigs, sold his old TV, his gaming console, anything that wasn't moving him forward. The warehouse job became part-time, then temporary, then gone. The day he walked out for the last time, he stood in the parking lot, breathing deeply. I'm scared, he admitted to himself. But I'm free. Years later, Daniel stood in a glass-walled office overlooking a city skyline. The very thing he used to draw as a kid stretched out before him, real and alive. His name sat on the door beneath the words lead architectural designer. He wasn't rich beyond measure. He wasn't famous. But he was fulfilled. He thought about that rainy bus stop. That flickering streetlight. That one step. Success didn't come from luck. It came from courage disguised as a small decision. From choosing action over fear. From refusing to let his past define his future. Daniel often tells young interns, your life won't change all at once. It changes the moment you decide not to stay where you are. Because sometimes, the difference between the life you hate and the life you dream of is not a giant leap. It's one step forward when everything inside you wants to stand still. And if you're listening to this, feeling stuck, feeling behind, feeling like it's too late, remember this. The road doesn't care how old you are. The door doesn't ask where you came from. The future only asks one question. Are you willing to take the step? Because one step changed everything for him. And it can change everything for you, too.